I think we start with James Harden, right?
Yes.
All right, so here let's roll the clip. Here's James Harden in China. He had some things to say about Daryl Morey.
Daryl Morey is a liar, and I will never be a part of an organization that he's a part of. Let me say that again. Daryl Morey is a liar, and I will never be a part of an organization that he's a part of.
All right, so in case you didn't hear what he said there, the audio wasn't great. He said Daryl Morey is a liar, and I will never be a part of an organization that he's a part of. Let me say that again. Daryl Morey is a liar, and I will never be a part of an organization that he's part of. So this is James Harden, once again, trying to force a trade. That was in China, and there's a longer clip where the people there start clapping. What else after he said cheering, and they're probably like, "What is this guy talking about?"
Did you see the reception he got in China when he got off the plane a couple days ago?
He's loved.
yeah.
He's a superstar
Yeah.
there.
But there's
right?
like kids around like, okay, are you going to dunk? Are you going to take a shot? Like, what do you mean? Who are you talking about? Daryl Morey? Like, they're so confused about it, which is the funniest thing to me. But on top of that as well, if you know Daryl Morey's history, you know he doesn't get along with China that well. So the fact that Harden flew all the way to the other side of the world to have a press conference amongst kids, and before he went there to make a shot, a dunk, whatever, he said Daryl Morey is not a good person, and I won't be on his team again. But then he said again, let me repeat. The fact that he repeated himself, that it's not a joke, this is not a fluke, it's not a problem. I want this to be out there that I don't want to be on a team with him again. And I mean, both of them have been wrong in their own ways, but I'm just happy because I thought the NBA was getting soft. I'm like, where's the drama? And finally this morning I woke up.
Too much drama.
6 o'clock in the morning.
It's a soap opera in the off season. But let me just give a quick timeline of how things kind of went down. In June, Harden decided to opt into his, $36.5 million deal because Philly reportedly was going to work out a trade. That didn't happen. August 12th, which was Saturday, a report from The Athletic said the Sixers were officially ending trade talks and expecting Harden to be at training camp, and now this happens. Whoa. So where do you want to start here with James Harden?
I think we got to go all the way back to last offseason when James Harden took a massive haircut to stay with the Philadelphia 76ers, a pay cut haircut. It's it's the slang.
He did shave actually at one point, didn't he?
I don't think he's ever going to shave anymore.
Have you seen him without the beard?
The beard got smaller.
Very strange.
You got to obviously clean it up and shape
He
it up.
doesn't look
that's
like
what he
himself
meant,
at all without
Anyway.
that beard.
Wow.
Regardless of James Harden's hairstyles, I don't like the dreads. He should have kept with the mohawk.
Okay, you're
but
bringing it
I'm
up.
just saying. Anyway, he took the massive pay cut to stay with the Sixers because to bring in a guy like PJ Tucker to build a championship roster. But then there was obviously the under-the-table deal with Daryl Morey, his boy from Houston, that he was going to recoup the money in the next contract, right? And that didn't happen.
No.
Harden requested a trade. That's why he opted in, so he could get traded because he wasn't probably going to get the most amount of money in free agency, right? But at the end of the day, it's the fallbacks on James Harden. Had he played better in the playoffs, he probably would have got paid. He didn't show up in the playoffs when it mattered the most.
I think it's not just the playoffs, though. I think it's just his history. Like, the fact that his pattern is, like, any team he goes to, there's a chance he might ask for a trade, or he'll take the young guys to the strip club that night. So he doesn't have the best, I guess I would say, just, like, the best kind of image around the league, which is why I could see where Daryl Morey might have had a hard time getting those offers and getting those trade packages going, because who really wants to take on Harden right now? He's also aging. His points have gone down each year. His passing has gone up, which is why I liked him in Philly. But now I'm wondering, what will Philly look like? Is Embiid gonna stay?
Do you think he was strategizing here? He chose China and the children to drop this bombshell, or was he asked a really probing question from a 6-year-old that conjured this response?
I have a feeling it was like, hey, Harden, we need a mic check. He's like, all right, I got some things to say. He's just dropped that. This is like the 4th time he's done this.
Yeah.
OKC, Houston, the Nets.
He's poised.
OKC's a little bit different.
Okay, I was different. They didn't want to extend him.
China on purpose. This is like going to Walmart as a Target employee and talking shit about Target. Like that's what he did with that. Like, he went to the audience where he's like, yes, no matter what I say, they're like, F Daryl Morey, they'll be on my side, no problem. And that's like what happened. Well, mind you, the kids there probably have no idea who Daryl Morey is, like what that team is. They have no clue. They're just applauding along, like, okay, this must be part of his spiel or his interview or whatever. But I don't think they knew what was going down. But it's just funny that he chose the halfway across the world to do this.
I really, really feel for 76ers fans. It's such a loyal fan base. Now that you go through this, then you got, I kind of feel, I hate him because he flops so much. I feel for Joel Embiid, and I also feel for Nick Nurse. Because right now, let me ask you the question, is the Sixers, if Harden leaves, and we don't know how this is all going to unfold, But is their season dead or alive before it even starts?
No, because you have Joel Embiid, right? You're still gonna be.
But what if Embiid turns around and says, "Well,
okay,
this is not what I wanted. This is not what I expected."
We
Can
assume
Embiid carry that team in a pretty decent Eastern
Well, I
Conference
think even
now,
with
though?
James Harden, even if they have James Harden, they run it back this year. Are they gonna? Does anybody expect?
Don't act like James Harden wouldn't help Embiid.
Yeah, he's
going
gonna
to
help, but
though, right?
in the Eastern Conference of the NBA right now, as Philly currently constructed, even with Harden, are they gonna? Do you think? Would you take them past Milwaukee, Boston, Dame Lillard when he goes to Miami?
Without Harden, are they even in the playoffs?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't think so.
I think so.
I don't think so because you're relying on Joel Embiid
And you got Tyrese Maxey.
a rookie Tyrese Maxey. Joel Embiid can't stay healthy. He's been a couple of years, but he's not at his prime yet, anywhere close to it. And Harden, he needs to be healthy. Harden can't stay healthy for his life. So if you're relying on a Harden-led team to take you anywhere in the playoffs, the Raptors might give you a better shot with Siakam.
But what are his options now? Right, he's poison, right, around the league. Ownership, owners won't trust him. Teammates has shown in the past not always the best relationships. He can piss off the fan base. What was his options? He's an old guy now, right? Because he still got some game, clearly, but he wants out. I will not play for a franchise. Well, what are your options right now? Europe?
No, he's
But
too much
really,
of a talent.
I mean,
Look,
the 24.7 a year, is that enough to convince someone
Well, if you're
to take a flyer
another
still?
franchise,
We know-
there's no trade for him.
no,
Where's
but
the trade?
we know injuries are gonna happen, and teams are gonna get desperate in the NBA once the season.
You
hits.
gotta be really
Think about it like
desperate.
this, right? Philly with Ben Simmons, they made him sit at home for
Yeah.
half the year.
Yeah.
He lost all that money. They'll do the same thing with James Harden. Okay, sit at home.
I actually don't get it though, because I do think, from what I've seen him in the past couple of years on Philly, taking a backseat to Embiid, becoming more of a passer and not wanting the spotlight offensively, that's helped his game grow and the people around him grow. So I like the fit. The Clippers, I don't think the Clippers wanted him as bad as I thought. They could have used him because they don't really have a point guard, and he could have fit that mold there. But on top of that, though, I don't think any team is going to bring him on because a contender is not going to want to have someone's image like James Harden on you. But also, a growing team, a rebuilding team is not going to want to have a veteran like James Harden around young guys because that the work ethic they want them to have, he might not be able to instill that the way that other veterans might be able
Also,
to.
he's going to cost a lot.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's going to be a player in picks. Do you really want to give that up for James
No.
Harden?
I mean,
that's what
right
Clippers
now-
didn't want to do. Yeah,
Is
Clippers are
James
like,
Harden the
nothing.
player that'll take a team over the top? I don't think so.
Not at this critical state of his
So this
career,
is
no.
this is a position that he's in, and Daryl Morey, because Morey probably went out there and said, okay, he's available, and what he was getting back in terms of packages was probably like, this is bullshit. I'm not taking this for James Harden.
Yeah.
I'd rather have him just here sit out. But it's Harden's fault at the same time. What was it 6-7 weeks ago? He decided to opt in. He didn't have to do that.
But he opted in.
I understand. Yeah, he probably got the handshake guarantee. We're going to work out a trade or whatever or we're going to bring in some pieces and make a real championship team with Nick Nurse and Embiid, yada yada yada. But at the end of the day, he signed that contract.
He did, but we
And
know
he
but it's
also-
the
go
NBA
ahead.
though. The contracts don't mean shit.
No, it's
in the
true.
NBA.
But it's-
Clearly,
He
I mean,
must
look
have
at the
known,
Lillard thing.
Yeah.
too,
When
right?
he opted in, though, he must have known. This is how sports works, right? His agent talks to teams.
Yeah.
He must have known there's deals in place that could be made. What happened in this 7 weeks?
When
to
we
make
look
that
what
deal
happened. So we
impossible?
told Fred VanVleet happened. That's exactly what happened. So remember, all the talk this year was that Harden's open to a reunion in Houston. Houston wants to bring him back. Once Ime Udoka signed up and became the coach of the Rockets, and his style of play was going to get implemented, you stopped hearing less and less about Harden, and they wanted Fred VanVleet.
So that's one option was Houston.
That big contract he was going to get from
That was a
Houston
big one,
was
yeah.
gone, right? So he thought, okay,
Which again shows you organizations around the league who want to pair their young guys with a good veteran mindset. They don't want James Harden around. That could have been their position beforehand. But when Ime Udoka got there, he's like, that's not my guy. I want a guy who will lead the locker room. And James Harden, as great of a player as he is, off court, he's a whole different animal, figuratively too, probably. But you probably don't want to deal with that as a team.
Isn't the only solution here, which is best for the ownership and for him, is to stay in Philly, play really well, and then force a trade through your play? Isn't that the best solution here?
that's
for all
common
parties?
sense, but in the NBA, it's not common sense. Look,
Well, I think it's also because the players in this scenario, I'm thinking what happened is, again, as he said, they made the deal. Harden said, okay, no matter what, I'll get traded. But he doesn't understand that a lot of the times when the GM, every single time when the GMs make those decisions, it's about what's going to be the best in their interest. So they might not see what they will get back in value for James Harden. And to
Yeah.
him, it's like, I don't care. I want to be traded. So that's, I think, where he's not liking Daryl Morey. But you also can't fault Morey. I'm not going to trade my superstar to you for a pick and a half,
And going back to the Houston thing and James Harden want to reunite in Houston, it tells you about James Harden. He does not care about winning a championship. It's
Wants
all
the
about the money.
Yeah.
So if you're another team and you see that, over the years you've seen this from James Harden. Who the hell is willing to take a chance? If you can somehow fleece the Sixers and bring him in, I think that's the only way. But that's not going to happen. There's a report that just came out from Jason Dumas saying Daryl Morey is unmoved by James's comments. He's holding firm in his stance that he will not trade him unless it makes the Sixers better. Meanwhile, he's told that James's agent advised him against making that statement.
Of course, because now it tanks his value.
Yeah.
Right. But then again, he's the same guy that came in overweight in Houston, right? Was partying with like rappers. And, it was wearing the fat suit, right? It's a part of James Harden.
He will go to like the nth degree to get what he wants. He will do that.
You see that a lot.
And it feels like at this
now.
point, it's not good. It might not work this time. He's still going to get paid, regardless. He's getting paid.
It's player power. He knows what he's doing, right?
God.
He'll get what he wants. You're right. He will get his money.
He will.
But at this point,
and he's bending his owner over at this point, saying, "Just I'm going to disrespect you until you move me."
Well, the thing is, the worst part is Daryl Morey is the reason why James Harden is in Philadelphia. He left Houston as the president of basketball operations there, came to Houston, and he's the one who wanted James Harden because he built his whole system in Houston around Harden and thought he could recreate that here in Philly. And now that
I just love it. I like every demise of Philadelphia, no matter what. Like keep it coming, keep it bringing. And the fact that Nick Nurse now has to deal with this is music to my ears. I love that he has to go to work and now wonder, wait, what's gonna happen with James Harden? What's gonna happen with Embiid? Like that to me. I love this.
Yeah, he went from one shit show to an even bigger shit show.
No, Justin, this shit
come on, this is a big
deal. The Raptors are a pretty big shit show last year.
They were,
the
but what if in
Raptors
turn
didn't have Joel Embiid and James Harden? This is a bigger shit show because now they leak everything. They put everything in the media.
Raptors at least.
And this is a team that has expectations to win the championship.
Exactly. Raptors, you were like able to speculate because nobody came to say anything. Philly, he came out and said, "F my GM." Like they don't hold anything back.
What if Embiid comes out and says, "You know what? I don't care if James is staying or going. I'm done with this shit.
We've heard that.
Send me New York.
We've heard the Knicks rumors. Again, we hear Knicks rumors with everybody, but it wouldn't surprise any of us if Embiid decides that I'm done in Philly.
I sneaky love that Embiid in New York.
I think
That's
he
nice.
should.
Dude, he'd be.
When's the last time the Knicks had a legitimate MVP star?
Patrick Ewing?
That's a long time ago.
I mean, they had Carmelo too.
Yeah, but it wasn't.
But the thing at the time when Melo went to New York, he was a top 5 player in the NBA.
Yeah.
Right? There was LeBron, D-Wade, Dwight, Carmelo.
And let's not forget Melo was supposed to be Chris Bosh.
They had to gut the whole Knicks.
But Embiid's got a connection also with Masai.
He's not coming to Toronto.
He's
not coming to Toronto.
Fred took that pay dip, remember?
Nope.
It still happened.
This whole Harden situation and the whole player situation with the player power is one of the reasons why I love the NBA, but it makes me hate it at the same time. Then you have Johnny Flat Earther coming out right now, Kyrie Irving.
Johnny Flat
he comments on Wojnarowski's tweet. He goes, "Is he disgruntled, Adrian, or is he holding Daryl Morey accountable for his dishonesty and lack of transparency throughout the contract negotiation process this summer?"
That's Kyrie.
Adrian?
Huh?
That's Kyrie, though.
Isn't this annoying to you? This is great for us to talk about, but it's so frustrating.
Listen, a week before, you left, I left, right?
Yeah.
We were whining about how boring and how
exactly.
Here's the
talk about
Shohei
Shohei.
Where's the news? Give us something. Well, we've been given something, and now you're already.
I will say this.
I was worried. I'm like, Kyrie hasn't
spoken
spoken in like a month. It's too long.
Have you been seeing his summer league footage that he's doing in the summer? He's been hooping.
But there's no sport in the world where the players transcend the sport, right? Other than the NBA. Yeah. These guys are bigger than the sport itself.
They are.
And the off season is almost as I don't know. You want to watch it as much as you want to watch regular season.
Oh my goodness.
Regular season is boring. Jeez, let's be honest
That's why
here.
this summer I was like, I don't hear. I woke up this morning, Christmas Day for me. I'm like, wow, James Harden went to China, talk shit about his GM. This is what I want to see because last year was all about Kyrie and KD, and I'm like, I know Kyrie's begging to talk about something, and James Harden, my man, gave him exactly a reason to get out there.
Kyrie couldn't stay quiet. He had to jump in. I got to jump in here.